Time for something rather different on the programme now. And think of Brazil, and you'll probably think of samba, football, or tropical beaches. The chances are you would not think of award-winning cinema. But the country, which won its first Oscar last year, has now just won 2 Golden Globes for its feature film, The Secret Agent. The movie, about a professor on the run from a powerful enemy during the military dictatorship, won Best Foreign Language Film and Best Actor in a drama film category for its star, Wagner Moura. Here he is then talking about the film.
I think we have to keep making films about the dictatorship. The dictatorship is still an open scar in Brazilian life. It happened 50 years ago only. We recently had from 2018 to 2022, we had a far right wing president in Brazil /fascist that is a physical manifestation of the echoes of the dictatorship. So the dictatorship is still very present in the Brazilian daily life. So we have to keep making films about it.
Well, let's cross live on the programme now to Rio de Janeiro and speak to our correspondent, Jan Onoszko. Jan, look, good to talk to you today. Give us a sense of what reaction in Brazil has been like to these wins at the Golden Globes.
Well, the Brazilians are absolutely loving this. Ever since Sunday, there's been a sense of pride, a sense of celebration here. It's not quite on the scale of winning a 6th World Cup, but it's almost there. Certainly many cinemas here in Rio and across the country were open on Sunday night to broadcast the award ceremony live so that fans could participate. And because of the film's success, some cinema chains are even offering free entry until the end of the week to anyone called Wagner or called Kleber. Those are the first names of the film's lead actor and also its director. It's been a box office success. It was the leading Brazilian film, best-selling Brazilian film in 2025. More than 1.1 million people have been to see it. And of course, that number is expected now to increase. Also on the increase are expectations around the film for the Oscars. Now, last year was the first time that Brazil won an Oscar. That was for the film I'm Still Here. It was also nominated in 2 other categories. So The Secret Agent is hoping that they can do just as well, if not even better than its predecessor when those nominations are announced a week on Thursday.
And Jan, so we had an Oscar and a Golden Globe last year, 2 Golden Globes already this year. Tell us, is this in your view a coincidence, or is there a reason behind Brazil's recent success in the cinema?
I think what's happening at the moment is there's a virtuous circle going on. So there's been an increase in public investment. In 2023, around 350 million euros were invested in the film industry in Brazil. But in 2024, that had increased to more than 400 million euros. Now, parallel to that, there's been an increase in audience interest as well. In 2023, the market share for Brazilian films was a mere 3.2%. But in 2024, that had shot up to 10%, and it's expected that when audience share figures are released for 2025, that will be even higher. So all this means that there are more Brazilian films being produced, and it's important to say that many of them are co-produced internationally. So, for example, The Secret Agent was not only funded by Brazil, but also by France, Germany, and the Netherlands. And as well as this increased international co-production, there's increased recognition for Brazil's top stars. So Wagner Moura, the protagonist of The Secret Agent, he shot to fame internationally when he played Pablo Escobar in the Netflix hit series Narcos. And all of this adds up to mean there's more interest, more curiosity from abroad about Brazilian cinema, and also more confidence in the film industry in the country itself.
And Jan, Wagner Moura has talked about how important it is for Brazil to keep making films about the dictatorship. He even called it an open scar in Brazilian life. Is this second big film in 2 years then? This is the second big film in 2 years about the dictatorship in Brazil. Do you think then there's a reason for that?
Well, I think if we talk to Wagner Moura and if we listen to that clip, we can hear him saying that the reason for all this interest in dictatorships is because very recently, according to him, Brazil almost became a military dictatorship once again. He was talking about the former Brazilian president, Jair Bolsonaro. He's an outspoken critic of his. As we heard in that clip, he calls Bolsonaro's government a fascist government. And indeed, Bolsonaro is currently serving a 27-year prison sentence for trying to overthrow democracy after he lost the 2022 presidential election to President Lula. Now, the Oscar-winning film from last year, I'm Still Here, deals directly with the dictatorship. It's based on a true story of a woman whose husband is kidnapped and disappears because of the military dictatorship in Brazil, and it follows her as she tries to find out what happened to him. When it was released, it caused outrage among far-right supporters of Bolsonaro. They claimed it was an unfair representation of the dictatorship. And really that goes to demonstrate what Wagner Moura was saying about this still being an open scar in Brazil's society. As for the secret agent itself, it doesn't explicitly deal with the dictatorship. There are no army generals, no torture scenes or political speeches. But from the offset, the protagonist, the character, is being pursued, persecuted by something. It's an unnamed, unknown threat and power. And it really means that there's a sense of foreboding and paranoia all the way through the film, which is meant to reflect what happens to a society when it falls under a dictatorship. Having said that, it's not all doom and gloom. There are some light-hearted moments. There are some really touching moments as well during the film. And there's also a nod to another Oscar-winning film, the 1975 classic Jaws. I'm not going to tell you too much about that, though, because I don't want to give you any spoilers.